Here is the 2025 Cadillac CT4 Sport in Typhoon Metallic. This is an all-new color this year, which makes it look a lot more athletic. And with Cadillac, you can still pick options instead of going tier base. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over some pros and cons, the comparable rivals, and we're going to start in the front with nearly 4 inches of clearance. The Sport trim gets the grille with the black mesh inserts in the top part that integrates into the LED headlights and daytime runnings. And I'm a huge fan of the signature lights that Cadillac does because it really makes it stand out of class. Genesis does something similar, but Cadillac has always kept that essence and it stays true to the heritage of the brand. The lower is going to get the gloss black insert front parking sensors because of the Sport trim, and the lower gets the gloss black mesh inserts as well as the lower bumper. I kind of wish that the whole front fascia had the gloss black because this is a Sport trim. But in the same perspective, I understand Cadillac keeping the luxury vibe alive. Underneath the hood can house a 2.0 or a 2.7 liter. Here we have the 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged that's producing 237 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 22 mpgs for the city, 32 mpgs for the highway, reaching 60 at 6.2 seconds. Now, what I mean by night and day difference, you're getting over 70 horsepower more optioning that 2.7 liter because it's going to unlock 310 horsepower with 350 pound-feet of torque. That's getting a 0 to 60 at 4.8 seconds. The front will have the Brembo V logo, red or blue for the calipers for the front and the rear. 18-inch wheels, that's going to be standard on the Sport trim. Going into the luxury is going to be a 17-inch. The sweet spot is the premium luxury because you can configure 2 different engine options as well, and you'll also get those 18-inch wheels. Gloss black is going to surround the lower skirt because this is the Sport trim, as well as the window trim. And upgrading from the premium luxury to the Sport trim is not a huge difference in price, especially if you're trying to get the 2.0 liter turbocharged engine. I would go this route because you're getting the styling elements that sets it to another class level, going against competition like the Germans, in which you're going to be saving anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, especially if you option that 2.7 liter. And then the 0 to 60 is only going to be about 0.3 seconds slower than an M240i, which that's a coupe. This is a sedan. So you're going to have more interior space in the vehicle opposed to the BMW. Mercedes, Audi, it's going to be the same thing. It might be a few tenths of a second faster, but let's face it, if you're at a stoplight and you're going stoplight to stoplight, a few tenths of a second, you're going to still be pretty much neck and neck. You're not going to be so far away. So for me, I'm looking at the total value in which I'm getting a luxury sports sedan. Infiniti, they don't even make a sedan anymore. And Lexus, let's face it, you're going to get more luxury here. And I'm not saying I don't like Lexus. I'm just saying whenever it comes to performance and luxury hand in hand, they don't usually do a great job with that. They'll give you the F Sport package, which just really tunes the suspension or maybe upgrades your brakes. You're not going to have 2 different power options in which it's going to be night and day difference in the drive. The rear is going to get the trunk lid spoiler, and the lower gets the gloss black with the diffuser, reverse parking sensor, reverse camera, and dual exhaust outlets. Another thing I like about the Sport trim opposed to the luxury and the premium luxury is you can tell this trim side by side, and even if you don't put it next to those vehicles, it's going to look more sporty, and yet you don't have to option the 2.7 liter twin turbo engine. But a con for me, even though I'm a huge fan of features, I do want some standard features in which we don't get a standard moonroof, standard navigation, technology, cold weather package. You have to add a lot of packages to the vehicle. So yes, it's a grandish more than the premium luxury. That's at a base tier. Once you start tacking on features, you're going to be in the mid 50 grand pricing, in which kind of wish that they started around 49, 50,000 and gave me just a few of those options because I'm on the top tier for the CT4. However you cut the cake though, this is still going to be the best value when it comes to a sport luxury sedan opposed to anybody in its class. Quick release going into 10.7 cubic feet of storage with a storage nook here on the side. Underneath the floor gets a little bit of storage. Unfortunately, you do have to go into the back in order to maximize the cargo capacity for the CT4 by just opening the lever here at a 40-60 split, and that will maximize the cargo capacity to the CT4. 18-way power seat adjustment for the front, heated ventilated massage seats with the orange stitch, perforated leather seats, manual cushion extensions, memory for the driver. Without a moonroof, headroom is going to be a little bit more, as well as leg space is not too bad. This is more of a sport slash luxury vehicle with somewhat of a driver focused setup. We do have a two-tone for the dashboard layout with the orange stitch work that comes into play. 8 speakers is standard, upgraded. Bose 14 speakers is an option that would also include navigation. We do not have that. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, OnStar, Sirius XM, Wi-Fi hotspot. Put it into reverse. With the reverse camera, with the trajectory that expands, this does have front and rear parking sensors. I do like that you have physical buttons, and you can always simply click into home and it'll get you into your quick tabs or back into the home page with standard dual climate control settings, as well as a wireless charging pad. The orange stitch work comes back into play, and the key fob for the CT4 Sport. Driving mode select right here, which you have a total of 4, in which when you go into the My mode, you can change that to make it a little bit more sport drive. I do like that it tells you what it's changing whenever you put it into the modes, and you can make it a little bit more sporty going into the sport mode. It's going to be a little bit more sporty here. Opens up into a long storage pocket with USB ports, 12 volt, and a cool thing about Cadillacs, which I always like to show, put your smartphone there, run the cables through here. Now you're not going to see any wires like you would see in any vehicle that competes with this. Leather wrap steering wheel, paddle shifts, and the gauge cluster has a digital reader in the center that can go through an array of information for the driver, including the turn-by-turn navigation if you option it, or your phone with analog tachodometer. Door panel and dashboard configured together. This will be changed out for the Bose sound system with an aluminum mesh, and you get the satin aluminum with the perforated right here, and that orange stitch work comes into play one touch up and down for the front windows, and it's still sporty with a long storage pocket and a little tray area for the driver. You can option a moonroof, auto dimming rear view mirror, and the interior lights are LED. I've reviewed a ton of these with the moonroof. Without them, you actually have a little bit more space in the back as well. Leg space is going to work, as well as storage behind both of the front seats, 12 volt charger, air vents, cup holders with an armrest. And the door is going to have the same materials that's found in the front. The orange stitch work comes into play. I like that it's still perforated, but I dislike there's no storage here. Sliding into the center, it is tough. I am tall, 6'3". You're going to be sharing some feet space, leg, butt, and shoulder space as well. It's not that wide of a vehicle, and you're expecting it to be a little bit more tight, but I can actually fit in the center of this, not optioning the moonroof. So it is something to consider if you're thinking about the CT4 opposed to the CT5. 237 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. Let's give her a little go. Weight distribution at 54-46, so it is pretty close to a perfect 50-50, which is also awesome considering this is more towards a luxury drive, meaning the seat comfort, the suspension layout, even with 18-inch wheels, I'm sitting really comfortable. Comparing it against BMW, that's going to be one of the most sporty drive vehicles in its class for competition. Then I would say Mercedes, Audi would be a little bit more comfortable. Sound deadening is good. We have nearly 4 inches of clearance, so you do sit low to the ground, but it's just an awesome drive overall because you get some excitement with the 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder. Obviously, ticking the box for the 2.7 twin turbo is going to be night and day difference of a drive. I do like the sport trim, makes the paddle shifts actual metal. I dislike the 8-inch screen because of the way it is set, and that you don't get Bose upgraded sound system standard. You still have to option that feature, which does come with the navigation. Everything's wireless, so that definitely is a plus, giving that luxury vibe. An 18-way power seat adjustment, I mean, when you're thinking competition, you're going to be spending $55,000 to over $60,000 to get that many seat adjustment, and then including massage. Try to find that on a 2 Series, even a 3 Series. It's not going to happen. It doesn't feel heavy when you mash on the gas pedal, so that is good if you are thinking, should I go 2.0 or 2.7? And we're gonna do a little demonstration right here. We're gonna go about 20. So I'm just coasting. I'm gonna put it into just normal tour mode, give it a go. Turbo livens up, and that wasn't in sport mode. So you don't have to be so worried about mashing on the gas, thinking that there's gonna be a significant turbo lag. The vehicle is also light, so that way motivation is definitely there. It doesn't feel very wide or long, so it has more of a coupe vibe, even though this is a sedan. It will take me to some pros and cons. Starting with the pros is going into this trim, it's a grand more than the premium luxury, which is the sweet spot for this trim. However, with the CT4 going sport, you get the gloss black on the exterior, you get more power seat adjustments, you get manual cushion extensions, massage seats for the front, and they don't skimp. Both the front occupants get massage seats. Some other pros is if you do not option the moonroof, I'm at 6'3", and if you did watch the interior, you can tell that I was able to fit in every seat. That's actually not going to be the case when you option that moonroof. It's gonna make it a little bit more tight for headroom in the back seat, especially for the center. It is going to be carved out, but here it's going to be a little bit more easy, so you could option this instead of a CT5. Give her a little go. And that's just everyday driving. I'm not flooring it. That's just to show you the motivation that you get out of this inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Some cons to the vehicle: it does lack in storage, especially for the back seat. If you are thinking about getting a sporty sedan for the family, it's going to be a little bit more cramped in the back seat. Also in the front, it doesn't have as much soft materials, especially where you're resting your arms. So going for a long drive, I can see where you would be maybe a little wore out because it is going to be harder materials where you're resting. As for the footwell area, it's good. If you option the Super Cruise Control, you can just rest your legs on either side, and it has plenty of room. The front, they did a great job giving that extra room for leg space. Turn radius at a stop point is going to get about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. The exhaust note filters in. Just such a comfortable drive. Braking is good. Everyday use, Cadillac knocks it out of the ballpark. Performance, you're not going to have as much with the 2.0, but you still have enough. And that's another pro to me, is you're getting a sport luxury sedan around $45,000 to $46,000. There isn't any world we live in that you can get anything with features similar to this with the Germans. And if you go into Lexus or even Acura, they've bumped their price up so much, and it's still not going to be as soft of a seat as this, in which the butt area, it's actually longer than Lexus. Therefore, it makes it better for taller occupants. But going back to some cons, no standard navigation, no standard heated steering wheel. I mean, when you go from any GMC up to Cadillac, this is their prestige line. I would like to see that standard, because you need some of that technology to come in. I'm not saying give us a huge one-screen, 2-panel layout. I'm just saying give us some technology instead of 4G LTE. Give us some of those standard features so the technology is right on par with the rivals, and you still get the savings that you're getting with the performance and luxury all blended in. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise website and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Coast Cadillac for giving us this 2025 Cadillac CT4 Sport for our car review.